Hey guys, another day, another project. Surprise, surprise. I decided to move out this little boy from here in the corner where it was painfully blocking the way the workbench was. And then later on, I decided to probably push back the CNC a little bit to the wall. This big part, the gray part on the other side, is just a box with the control unit in it, and it's loose standing, so there's this much space to the wall. Probably move the box back a bit that direction, and then the CNC into this part. But in order to do so, I also decided to upgrade the air, since the only thing I had was this, I don't know, rolling thingy on the wall. I decided to make an airline going from there on the wall to there on the electrical closet. And then we cross the ceiling, so this ceiling beam all the way over there to the table saw, the hydraulic saw, and the other parts. So there's air on that side with a neat little I don't know, air socket, and there will be air on the other side. And then to finish it off, I decided to cut the compressor in two. So we'll cut it literally here and on the other side. So the motor can be separated from the tank. And the tank will be over here on the wall in this not particularly used space. And while I'm at it, there's also the cooler, this thingy over there, and it goes up here in the corner. The motor part goes in here, so it can be soundproofed as well. Maybe cut some holes for the ventilation. And in order to do that, I ordered a million parts last week. So all kind of hoses and pneumatic connections and airline for this annoyingly big airline. It's 25 millimeters, so 1 inch, which is plenty for me, but it was really annoying to have in the post in the shop because it's 4 meters, so all special packages. All right, let's get to it. Of them will go up here. Stay. This is for connecting the compressor to the dryer, and then the dryer to the airline. 90-degree angles, airline to 1/2 inch, thingy spanner pieces to go on the wall, and then about 1 million different pieces to cut the compressor in half and reconnect it again, or install safety couplings. Fucking expensive, by the way. One of these is about 40-50 euro, but you only spend it once, I hope. I think I will. Penciled away. Shitty tool. And now I know why it is thick. make a little offset with a piece of wood. I'll screw it in. Connect this to the one side. You have the 1/2 inch, and the other side should be a T connection. I hope I didn't cut it too short. This is the master plan. This part is just to connect the compressor with some T-pieces to the dryer, and from the dryer to the tube. We just put it up on the wall. Apparently I need a T-piece, another T-piece, and I guess a third T-piece, but I don't know why. I do remember. So we have one T-piece actually still need to put in the line somewhere to connect the big tank to. And then another T-piece that connects the line to the spool over there. And it should go straight down to a wall piece. And it should go up with a 90-degree angle toward the other side. I think the sensible thing would do it on this side of the beam instead of the other side, because if we go to this side, in the end I need to go there and not there. So this is just another make it up as you go with something that resembles a plan but not really video. So one piece should go there. It'd be really nice if we could just make a bend instead of this 90-degree angle going up. Alright, let go. Alright, so it needs to be lowered. Thought I can try to bend it, but it's way too thick to bend it, not without any special tools. So that would mean I need first a 90-degree angle, and then I would need this one can go right here somewhere. I need to cut the pipe. So I took the out from the compressor to the cooler, because according to my plan I should recycle that. So this one should go to the big air supply vat, which I will mount over here. I need to do that later. We just continue to the left. So this should go on the next line. Unless I'll just plug this in. Where did I leave the deburring tool? Come on. Of course, the deburring tool was in the kitchen. One 90-degree corner. Yeah, the question is if I connect the waller hose thingy straight to the line. It will be always on full pressure. I don't know yet if I want to be able to regulate it down. I'm really glad I didn't opt for all the gluing type of airline. I mean, this is a bit of work, but you need to glue everything and then wait and make a mistake and you can't really get back from it. Sounds like something I would hate to apply a bit of tape to here. I think I can actually cheat a little bit because over there it's about 5 to 10 centimeters from the wall and here it's close to the wall. But I like this more than having another piece of wood underneath. Maybe I do need to actually tighten it now. And this is supposed to fit how? What a worthless piece of crap. Same brand. This is for the 40mm ones. I guess I'll just do it by hand then. So let's go all the way to the other side. Plumbing friend once taught me this. If you take it the other way around, it's much easier to unwind. And also you should take care of the direction you put it in. So if you tighten it, it should also tighten the tape. I do like these couplings. So if you press them once, they will bleed out the air instead of blowing up your ears. If you press them twice, I'm not too sure about using this line for the actual compressor because it can get hot. Let's see what my master plan says. I'm supposed to put the dryer and then 1/2 inch to the hose. The hose with a connector to here, which just makes sense, but I am missing a coupling then. Success. So we have one part going to the hose, the coupling part, another part going to the airline. So I hope it's not leaking, but let's see. Screw this one. That's actually quite heavy. Or I'm getting weak. How long do we need to go all the way through? Fit this one on here. Don't forget to put a nose clamp. So we connected the airline to the flexible hose, which then goes up there all the way to the exit. Now the entry here goes to the compressor down there. We'll do that probably tomorrow. And this little pneumatic line is the condensate drain. So each, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, it flows for a few seconds to get rid of the condensate. This dryer is pulling out of the air, and I'm also quite happy in this case. The normal compressor, the air gets pumped in first, goes into the vat via that line. So all the air in the vat is actually wet. So there's a condensate drain on it, but it will rust anyway, and they do get really rusty. So after a year or even a few weeks, you have like this brown, rusty freaking vat, which I don't really like. And by separating the motor from the reservoir and putting essentially the dryer in between, and all of the air that goes through the dryer into the system, into the vat, is completely dry. So it also will save increase the lifespan of everything. So let's continue downstairs. So I had a little change of plan. Disconnect the black hose over here and put a blind plug into it. And the dryer is now connected with the same black hose to the output of the compressor supply vat or storage vat or whatever you call the thing. So I did this as an intermediate step to see if it actually works. If not, then I still have a working compressor. So let's see how it goes. Quite scary. So now the whole system is pressure to 6 bar. We got interrupted by more important stuff first. Nice Greek beer and tasty food. But so far so good. I don't hear huge leakages. So I go have some food, and if I don't hear anything exploding in the meantime, we'll continue in a bit. See you guys later. So to my surprise, it's actually working. It's working. And I have some hoses with the wrong diameter, wrong type. So I can't plug it in, but really handy. Plug this one in. You never know. Also over here, it's working. There is one slight leak here. Don't know yet. Maybe need some soapy water to check that out. But yeah, other than that, now it's time to go home. And after that, it's time to cut open this monster, place it in the monster closet, and take the tank and put it to the wall. That's for tomorrow. So, final test of tonight. It's at 6 bars. It's leaking a little bit from one or two connectors. But since I don't have the correct spanner, it's hard to fix that. So let's see how much it drops overnight, and then I'll much we need to fix.
One eternity later.
So the next day, and it is lowered. It's about 4 bars, so it's not hugely leaking, but it's too much. If I leak 2 bars from this vessel in one night, it will be empty in a week. So the next phase of the project, I removed this, actually like this aluminum line and this huge check valve. This check valve is used in 2 ways, so it just lets air through and out of the bottom, so it can only go into the vat and not back into the engine. And then there's this blow-off hole, or however you call it, this pneumatic line connected. And this pneumatic line is going to the controller over here, where normally this pneumatic line ends. So as soon as this controller hits 10 bars or whatever the desired pressure is, it switches off the motor, and if it reaches a certain threshold, let's say 6 bars or 5 bars or something like that, it switches it on again. But in order to be able to start, the whole engine or the cylinders shouldn't be under pressure. So as soon as this one switches off, you hear the psh noise, and it's depressurizing the line that used to be here from this check valve. So I need this one to be on the motor. Something like this. And then instead of this check valve releasing air into the vat, we go up with this hose nipple straight up to the dryer. And then, like I said earlier, we will separate the motor or the whole compressor part from the vat. I'm not really sure yet if I just will cut through it, or if I recreate this whole base plate. But the problem is, for that I need slots in order to have the whole belt on tension. And in order to make slots, I actually need a CNC. And in order to use the CNC, I need compressed air. So it's a bit of a chicken-egg situation. But let's get started, or continue. I opened up the junction box and made some photographs. Let's get rid of these washers. And disconnect the earth. So since this is a 3-phase motor, I have earth, first, second and third phase. Now we should be able to disconnect this one. And we should do so to be able to use this one freely. They did use some kind of thread locker on this part. So at the beginning, it's really terrible to move it, but right now, other than stupidly curling up the cables, it's okay. So one controlling unit should go over here. Now the question is one will be a tight fit, so I can either put the controller to this side, which is easier, but then I have this hose coming out here. Yeah, I guess that's fine. So this is just to test everything out. Obviously I do need all the Teflon tape to make it airtight. It's really not a one-handed operation. I want to make sure, since I made the drawing at my desk, that everything is actually the right thread. This one is a bit fucked up. Maybe due to the thread locker used, but yeah, it is going. So this one then bolts onto here. So will be something like that. One last question is, are we able to still turn this one? Needs to do a few turns. Oh yeah, there's enough clearance. I was afraid it would hit over here, but if I just take up the wires and use two hands instead of one while handling the camera, I think we should be fine. So I will plug up this hole where the air used to flow into the tank. The other holes remain plugged up. Actually not. I will take this plug out and replace it with a valve in order to get rid of the condensate. And then this one goes with a hose to the airline, and this hole needs to be plugged up. So one last check. That's not it. Trouble with all these fittings if you order it incorrectly. Hey, what's this? Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know I ordered that one. It should be. If you order it incorrectly or you don't order enough, then each time it takes about 2 to 3 days to get new stuff, which is obviously really annoying. One more stainless steel, what's the word? Slangtule, the part connecting the thread to the hose. It's better than the one they supplied because it is freaking aluminum, so you have the whole shebang of different materials. That over there, the gray part is cast iron, I guess, or other irony. Orange part in the middle is aluminum. Then you have steel. The other side is stainless steel and iron. So actually I like to use just stainless steel if possible, and if it's still affordable. And if you mix in aluminum, then stuff will start to corrode even quicker. So now what's left to decide is, should I cut the compressor or should we do one more test run to see if my if the project is actually working without moving the whole fed. Might not be the worst idea since I need to install it anyway. let's do that. Dislocated my shoulder doing that. So last time I just cut off the final piece because I was fed up. This time I decided just to put the last 2 rings of the hose connector. And you see, I don't know if you can actually see, but the way it's so tough, it just cuts off like a slight layer on the inside. The hose looks fine. It's quite heavy duty, but that's why it's so tough. Now let's go to the other side. I'm not overly confident in this seal, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, I try to run it. Let's see if nothing blows up. It is working, that's good. We need to connect it to the airnet for it to be able to switch off automatically. So let's do that. So I just connected the airline from the compressor to the dryer. These stupid ass clamps. Now let's try it. That was really quick. I guess it's working. No, nothing left to bite the bullet and cut the compressor in half. I tried to see if it would be also possible to just cut the welds, but I don't dare to cut in the tank too much. And 2 of the 6 welds are in the middle. They're hard to reach only through this small hole, which is fine for a welder, but not really in an angle grinder. So maybe we do the hard one first. Shove in a piece of wood to keep it stable. And then the other side. Actually, it's not too bad. I think I put like 2 big beams underneath so I can pick it up with the lift. And I guess I will just bolt it up. that. I need to detach this hose, which I could have done before, because it's really in the way. The last screws are long enough. So I went ahead and got out some anti-vibration rubbers. You should also give it enough ground clearance. Actually looks quite nice. Just enough maybe. And if not, I will just add more of this stuff. It's about 5 millimeters. I might need 10. So before we move this one into the closet, we need to take care of a few less things. I would need electricity, like this 3-phase connector here somewhere, which is not the hardest because I can just open either of those. I have 3-phase going through and then place a plug socket somewhere there or wherever I want. Clear the floor with all this stuff and make a hole for this one, preferably somewhere down the back. But I think we're going to do that tomorrow. Good morning. So, this morning I was lying in bed and I realized I made a small mistake. It's the output of the air, and like I said, this is the check valve, the one-way valve, and this is the pressure sensing controller. But as you could see on the video where the compressor run, it switched on and off and on and off, and I thought, oh, that's because there's no way for the air to go. But that's not true, because this one switches, the controller switches the compressor off, bleeds itself, switches back on, and etc. etc. So I actually accidentally created a loop in which I could potentially explode the whole system, or at least it will keep oscillating. So long story short, I need to move this part, which was also sticking out quite far, which I didn't like. I need to move this part to the other side of this check valve. So this check valve needs to go right on there. Then I have the T-piece, which goes to the hose connector and the controller. So let's do that. That's a bit more on working height. The power. Annoying, but yeah, what can you do? Let's see. Disconnected pleat line. Power cable and the cable to the motor. Screw this one off. Out of my way. Get this one out. Let's see. So if I put this one in here, yeah, I need to remove everything in order for the T-piece to be able to move out. It's a shame, but yeah. I find these bushings quite annoying since they have nothing on the outside. You always get these horrible grip marks on them. One positive note. This DP is connected to the compressor was a bit loose. I didn't really like that. This one should go here. Now the question is, can I just screw it on? No.
One eternity later.
That is really close call. But I'm happy it's working. Well, first put some tape on it. Oh, this feels much more solid, so that's good. So let's see, how are we going to do that? This one needs to be put on here. There's basically one way. Put this one on here. And then I can have controllers pointing up and the host pointing out, which makes the most sense, because this one needs to be able to twist. This would actually be fine. If it has enough clearing to, yeah, like that. And if it doesn't work, I can always twist it back a little bit. So not enough tape, might have one more. So I have two more. This one, which is supposed to be the shit, but it's so weird. You can try it later, and this one I just keep defaulting to. In this case, really trustworthy Chinese. Nope. Everything is bigger than 25. Which is, I guess, the biggest non-movable wrench I have. I'd like this one to be pointing up. Yeah. I don't think that's too bad. 4-ish. So, connect the over depressuring line. Really conveniently located on the back. This one can go here. Reconnect it to the controller. And we need to wire it up again. So that should be it. I think it's sticking out, but I hope it's good. Gate release now. It's the exhaust of the compressor straight to the check valve into the system are bleeding. Connect to the rest of the tubes in the system and the controller. So this controller actually measures the system now instead of just this piece. So, stupid mistake, but we fixed it. We'll use this one. to drill a hole. About, I don't know, here. We have a connection. Messy drill. So this one should come in from the top. It's true. So this one is going through all the way up here to the right, over the top to here. I just rotated this hose connection. It was pointing down and creating a bit of a bending, horrible angle. So clean up all the wood chips and then let's see if the compressor fits. So before we put the compressor here, I need some power. Decided on this socket. Not really sure how to connect it yet. So the red part is obviously the 3-phase, and then we have a 1-phase connector. Ideally, I'll run a cable to the compressor and then run one back, which connects to the let's say the 220 volt socket. So the dryer just switches on whenever the compressor is running. I don't know if I can do it by just connecting 1 phase from the control box. I probably think it should be possible, but let's worry about that later. Just going to mount that there, I guess. Maybe 40 centimeters of wire. Switch those off. So I need something like that. This is earth. Now the question is, which one is neutral? This one is live. But this one is neutral. That's easy, and live. The colors any way you like, but like I said earlier, if you do switch them up, then sometimes motors can run into the other direction. So just to keep it simple, I always do them the same. For me it works like normally live is brown, and then after that it's black if it's like a switched live wire, and after that it's gray because it's just like the third or last option. Double check. That's it. So that's all work done. And once we place the compressor here, we should see if it's running the correct side, left or right, and if not, then switch out the wires here. So let's do that. So let's try to get the monster into the closet. So I left this piece of wood to the side, but it's just too big. It's like 1 centimeter, and it catches that corner and it catches this corner. So let's get a saw. It is in. That's a wonder. There's enough clearance from the wall. Same over here, it just sits to the wall. Needed, I can push this one back a little bit, but let's leave that for now. The moment the only clamp I have that's decent enough. Which, yeah, you can just pass. That should be all connected up. The output's going here. Let's put in the plug. Fine. We need to check if this one is running the correct side. And the whole system should switch off automatically. Leaking over there. That's not so strange. Don't know how it happens with this one. Probably just leaking from the hose, so let's depressurize it and connect that one properly. Or switch off the compressor first. It's actually a surprising amount of volume in these lines. Here. That's better. Maybe I just need to push it on a little bit further or use a different hose clamp. While we're at it, this one is not leaking and this one is also not leaking, but it's this is all pressurized. That's great. Above expectation. So I decided just to put 2 clamps on. Surely must be better than one. And just let it run for a second. Right now we are at below 10 bars or 10 bars. Hard to read for me from here. And at least it's not making too much leaky noises. I can hear started leaking from one part, but I kind of knew there was something wrong here. So let's take a plier and try to jam that one shut. So I just opened this one. As I tried to tighten it down, it started leaking more, and I noticed immediately this is the part where the clamp bites down on the tube, and I don't think it is far enough in because it will meet this O-ring. So I definitely need to push it in further and then just retighten it. Not a big issue, I suspect. The one is much tighter. Let's turn on the compressor again. Let's see if it's still leaking. Ah, that's beautiful. All good. All quiet. Over there as well. Many couplings, so it's probably leaking somewhere, you know, but at least it's quite decently airtight. It's just 10 bars, it's not that much. So next part is to get this big fat tank up to the wall. I'm getting bad at guessing the size. 22 then? Yeah, finally. I tried to get this one to go from the cylinder, but it just stuck. I don't know what kind of super glue they used. Ah, come on. This will be a challenge too. Probably don't have a 22. 19, 24, of course. Worst high impact set ever. 22. This one. So this is the lowest point in the tank. Make a manual drain over there, since the air should be fairly dry. It's like a freaking mummy. Yeah, this is nice. So, let's see if we can mount it to the wall without breaking my back. Two mounting plates over there. And this one over here. job. Yeah, definitely. Also in hindsight would have been better to add the exhaust later. Thing is, I don't have anything to grab it on. It's too big. It's quite heavy. I think like, I don't know, 40 kilos maybe. So it's doable, but it's a bit of a pita. Let's try it one more time. I could try to maneuver the pallet lift in here, but then it's kind of balancing on one side. Maybe let's try that. Some bigger screws to screw it in from the side. Maybe use other screws to screw it in. It's a bit of a weird angle. Like this. Really hard to reach in to drill, but probably should do it with a socket or so. So it's hanging. This was a lot going back and forth. I tried to do normal screws with a washer. I tried to do these ones with a socket, but it's really hard to screw them in with just like a manual socket, and there was no way to get any tool in between. So it was going some back and forth. Driving this one in, pushing it up, driving the other one in, and since they were all going in like 40-degree angle, 45-degree angle, they got stuck, and well, I decided to spare you guys of the horrible journey. But at least now it's hanging. One less fluorescent light, but I wanted to get rid of that anyhow. So let's add a hose over there and over there, and then the whole system should be finished. There was one victim of this whole thing, this one, but it's I call it just a fancy handle now. It's out of the way. And as you can see, even though this compressor was used maybe for a few hours and it had outer drain, it's still leaking rust. So it's good to get it in nice and dry and clean. Blind plug out. Hose connector going in, which is not right size. Screw me. Need ½ inch. For some reason I ordered a adapter for 3/4 to half. So that's great. Cover it up and screw it in. Like so. something like this. Unfortunately, I only have the sucky type of hose clamps left. Maybe I'll replace them later, which is quite doable. The other one is really a pain in the butt. So it is running. Connected up the output of the dryer to a jerry can. And we need to connect it inside the closet later. You can hear the vat filling up, and it's really a big difference because I used to have it running here and I needed to have the ear mufflers on as soon as it was running because it was a hell of a noise, and now it's, you know, like an annoying car nearby or something like that. So far, no horrible leaking noises. Maybe check out this not really trustworthy hose clamps. It's fine. That all feels fine. I hear no noise, so happy so far. Well, like I said, these hose clamps are suited for... Where's my freaking bin? Almost. The bin, because this one, about a minute ago, violently popped off and kept slapping away here until I switched it off when I dared to go close. So I went to the shop and got me some more heavy duty Euro style clamps, so I hope that's better. Yeah, looks much better. Good morning. So I spent the weekend at home and I was just back here, and it is, I just disconnected this one. There is still pressure, but not too much. So I'm happy it didn't explode again. And somewhere is something leaking, but I can also imagine is this from Orion to Euro to something else, and it's all kind of wobbly. This is obviously not permanent, but I wanted to hook up the CNC, which goes into another coupling right there, and that black hose on the ground, and then here, and it was all different. So this was just, let's say, a quick hack to get around. But yeah, not unhappy. No explosions in the weekend, no complaining neighbors. Pretty great. You can hear the air flowing into the tank. And it's running so much better than being in the middle of the shop. Still need to close the door, put in some ventilation, but it's a hell of a difference. Good morning. I decided to make a small addition as the finishing touch, I guess. This horrible plastic fan. I'm going to put it in here. There's quite a air gap under the door, and we'll place it on the top left side is an exit fan, so it pulls in the air and forces a little refreshment, because if I run this for 15 minutes now, it's really quite hot in here. And also add some extra insulation padding stuff. So let's go. So that's the place where the fan should go. This is wood paneling and it's quite thick. I think there's a beam behind it. This is my really accurate measuring stick. And then we should exit somewhere here through this board stuff. So I decided just to cut a circular hole, not to make it too complicated. So I know here's a wood beam, probably to the left as well, so I'll just place it somewhere here. Beautiful. Let's see the other side. Ah, beautiful. Luckily, I do have something to cover this up, so it looks a bit better. If this isn't the worst circle you ever saw, I don't know. My secret cover the nuts around hole up plate for just $5 from the discount bin. So I just came up with a pretty cool idea. I was actually planning on using this one to control the air dryer and the ventilator from one switch. But in order to do it properly, the dryer needs to be started first. The switch doesn't matter that much. And then maybe 5 or 10 minutes later I can start the compressor. And the dryer doesn't need to be running then, but the fan does need to be running. And I was thinking about making like a programmable logic thingy, a PLC, but it's quite expensive and quite complicated. And I just thought of this simple idea. We'll take the wire going to the cooler and going to the fan, connect it up in here, and then later, if I ordered it, we can add a timer relay, set that for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever, and then use that to start the compressor. I can just keep this one on until I'm finished with the day, turn it off, and it's actually quite simple and does the same, but for, I don't know, 20-40 euro, something like that, instead of 400. So first install the fan. We need to do that anyway. I'll leave that plate open for now because we need to connect it. Now do the one on the outside. Something like this. So that's working for now. Now we just need to wait for the timer relay and the other parts to come in the mail, and I can get rid of all this stuff and make a nice control box somewhere above this line, somewhere there. And while we're at it, I also want to add some of this insulating stuff. We've got some here already, but I can use some on the right wall and on the left wall to make it a bit more dampened. So one proper torture chamber ready. Nobody can hear you scream in here. Still a bit noisy, but I guess it's quite okay. when I was emptying it out, I was looking for this guy. Hello. Sammy doesn't like weird noises. So the poor thing is hiding out in the corner behind my chair. I hope it's finished soon. So, I got some stuff. Namely this. It's a nice little in-reel box with two... Oops. With two thingies. Oops. So this one is a timer relay. Basically, if it's powered on, it has different options to give different output. The most basic one, I guess, is a time on delay. So you power it on, it waits for a specific amount of time. It can vary from, I don't know, milliseconds to hours to days, and then switches on the output. And the output is connected to this one, which is a magnet switch, basically a really beefed up relay. This one is capable of handling 40 amps. The compressor is actually 16 amps or 9 at full power, but it's an inductive load, so it needs to be quite, how you say, overcompensated in order not to, I guess, melt down the contacts. So we have this one to be mounted, and then we have this one to control it all. Jesus, it's hard to handle. So this one will switch on the timer setup and simultaneously switch on the fan and the cooler. So this fantastic plan, basically we start here with the 3-phase neutral input, which goes to the straight to the relay. And like I said, this is the timer right here, which controls the output, controls the input of the relay, and this one connects to the socket, to the plug that controls the compressor. And then on the other side we have the switch here. So if I switch this one on, it will take one of the phases and switches on the relay, switches on the fan, and switches on the cooler. So the fan and the cooler will be on instantaneously, and the relay or the timer will wait, I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes to switch on the compressor. So I'm quite happy with this result. So this one goes right there. It's nice and out of the way. Doesn't interfere with these doors. Initially planned on placing it there on the left side, but that sucks a bit. I'd rather have it here. It's above my head, so I can quite easily reach it, but it's not in the way. Then it goes in here in the corner, and if I land it correctly, pull this one back a bit, it can reach in here. The fan's up there, and the cable for the cooler is already running down here, so I just need to put it on neatly here. Then we need to remove this 3-phase plug, take it and place it somewhere sensible here. And the hardest part is to reach from here with the cable to there, but I want it a bit neat, so I'd rather not cross all these other stuff, but maybe just take away this completely, open up the board and get one out from the top and run it on the top like that. That makes a lot more sense. So this one is wired up. We can now go ahead and close it like this. It's looking pretty decent. So step one, the wire is coming in and I drilled all these holes. And now we need to figure out how to set this one. There's no data sheet, it's just this on the side. So I think we need this one. This is something like time. Use voltage R, I don't know, maybe the connection. So this one stays low and goes up. This one seems the opposite, high and goes down. This is something like a pulse, and this is a lot of pulses, so we don't need these ones. I think we need this one. So that will be A, and then T for the time. Should be this one. Set on A. And then T for time. I think it's made up out of this one and this one combined. So this one you set for the course duration, 1 to 10 hours, 6 to 60 minutes, 1 to 10 minutes, 6 to 60 seconds. So now I set it for, just for testing, for I guess something like this, 6 to 60 seconds. So I think 1 will be 6 and a 10 will be 60. So this should be 12 seconds. And later on, if we set it correct, I'll switch this one to a few minutes. I guess that's enough to cool down. So let's mount this one straight down, somewhere there, like that. Oh, this one is wired up as well. Sorry for the lack of footage, but it's just holding me the camera now. The other one is charging at home, so it's a bit complicated to hold this one and use the screwdriver at the same time. Now connect up the fan, connect up the cooler coming in, and connect the incoming power, and we're ready for a test. So I connected it up temporarily. I don't have any normal wires left, so with these hard type of wires, and also quite temporarily connected it here and turn on the power. So let's see what happens if we hit the switch. That's the fan coming alive. And if all goes well, the relay should do something in about, I don't know, 5. Should probably tune that down a bit. Seconds. Let's try again. And on. I have the feeling there's something wrong with the settings. So function A, I don't know. 1 to 10 seconds. So let's put it in 2 seconds. And Set the function to A. And let's try it again. Oh, 2 seconds have passed. There is nothing going on. That is very strange. Good morning. So I figured out what was wrong. This thing, the timer relay, was defective. So this time it wasn't me. Glad to find it out. And I fixed the rest. Let me show you. So we have this switch over here, and if I switch this one on, the fan starts running up top there, and also the cooler starts. For some reason it's not. Let me show you again. So I switch it off, I switch it on, now the relay starts, and it waits for about 6 seconds. I set it to a few minutes later. This one goes on, this one switches, and now the compressor, if I didn't turn it off, would be running, but then I go deaf. So for now, no. But yeah, let's put a enclosure on top of it and let's call it a day. So that's looking much better. Straighten it out a little bit. So I also removed the socket that was here, and we can cover this up in a bit, but we need to check one thing. Because it's a 3-phase, you never know which is the order of the phases, especially if it's all brown, brown, and brown. And if it's the wrong order, this motor will run either left or right. And this one needs to run left, so it can push the air through the cooling fins. So I set it to about 5 seconds. Switch it on, and then in a few seconds it should start running, but it's not. Let's switch it off. So this is going right, which is wrong. So I need to switch out, turn off, and then switch out either one of these phases. Let's switch this one, the brown and the black. It's much easier if you have different colors, so you don't fuck it up all the time. But there. So put back the power. Wait a few seconds. Very good. And now we can set this one to a sensible time, like about 5. That's more than enough time. So cover this one up and we're almost done. Ta-da! It barely fits in there, but I don't care. Yeah. Works very well. It's the exhaust. And now we gotta wait about 5 minutes. And then it will switch on, and I'm sure I will have like a mini heart attack when it does. So let's see. So just when I thought we finished the project, I decided to extend it a little bit, because why not? Right now, if I want to see the pressure of the air, I need to go into the compressor closet and look at the tiny pressure gauge. So I got this one, nice and big, and I want to mount it on the big air tank over there. And also every day when I come in the shop and I leave, I open or close a ball valve on top of the air tank so it doesn't leak away during the night. And now I have this one. It's actually a two-piece. So this is a ball valve as well, but with a motor. And this one should work really simple, 2 wires. So you power it and it opens, and there's I think like a condensator inside. So if you close off the power, then it automatically closes. And then 2 nice finishing touches. One is this one-way valve I plan to mount on the compressor, so the whole system leading back to the compressor can only go into the air system and not out. It's also good for leaking, and a overpressure valve, because I found out it's actually not there and I don't really like that. So let's add some safety and these other steps, and then we're all finished. So I'm planning on putting the motorized ball valve somewhere here, or probably here, because there's not so much space here. And then we have this plug conveniently located, which we can use for the big pressure gauge. So let's do the easy stuff first, but I got to make sure there's absolutely no air left, which there isn't. That's tight. This is also a very convenient time to plug some small holes or air leaks. I found out lately there's also one on the cooler which is leaking a tiny bit, and even, I don't know, a tiny bit in a week is almost half of the air gone, so it's quite annoying. So I got this one taped up and ready to plug in, only to find out the hole is the wrong diameter. That's kind of funny. I can either put it down there, but that's not really super convenient. Yeah, I thought this was 1/2 inch, but it's not. 3/8 probably. Oh well, we'll just put it down there. Factory sealed, so Loctite or something. It's really impossible. Whew. Now I could use some air from an air gun to blow this clean, but alas, it's all this gunky, disgusting stuff. Let me check before. Yes, this should be the correct size. It is super annoying to read though, so let me quickly figure out if we can use something like this angle, or maybe a angle and an extender to mount it sideways. That would be an option. It's a bit of a bummer. This is really easy to read, and this is really like knee level again. Or maybe I should just not complain. But let me check what we have. I also took some time last week to finally break in these boxes. It's still work in progress, so this is all hydraulic and pneumatic, hose clamps, and then I have other assortments of stuff for the prototype profiling, you know, like the aluminum rail types, finishing touches or knobs, or I don't know, all kind of stuff. And it was sometimes in boxes like this or like this, and now it's getting there. But like I said, still work in progress, because you have 1 million different settings for all these. So I found some stuff, but less than ideal. This one I can put in here, but it's not wide enough compared to this side. Same goes for this, or I need to put in another male-to-male coupler, which I don't have, and then I found this one, which fits the whole, I thought was 1/2 inch, but this side is unfortunately not the same size as this, so womp womp. Or I can order more, or we'll just say screw it and screw it in. You can see it now. I'm lucky it's a huge dial. Here you can see what I see about here. So that's good enough. I should not forget to plug this hole, but I don't know. Let's first fix that one with the ball valve. Finally, I spliced it open. It's insane. The inside, it's obviously it's quite hard to see on camera, but it's completely gripping into this. I don't know what's the word. Okay, at least we got that one off with a little demolition. I assembled this one, and I think it should fit nicely this way or the other way. Only thing, there's not enough space for it to rotate, so I got to disassemble it again first, which is not a hard job. So it's just the ball valve itself we need to screw in here, and there's enough room for that, so I'll leave this ball valve be for now, and gives a little bit more space. And then the, I don't know, the tule, we should call it, the part to connect it to the hose. Help me guys, what's the proper name of this? So hose on one side and thread on the other side. Let's apply some tape and screw it in. Like that. And before I connect this ruined hose, I would like to test if it's actually working. So solder some wires, connect some wires to these two, and see if this Chinese thing is actually doing something. I don't really like to have a Chinese valve, but I figured, hey, they mostly come from there anyway, and the ones I got in Holland were like €400 and this one was 40, so Check the manual. It's my favorite part, the manual. Especially if it's Chinese. Let's see. 2 wires. I guess brown and yellow. It can do 3 to 6 volts, 12 volts DC, 9 to 24 volts AC, and 85 to 240 volts AC. So it can do anything short of 400 volts. Interesting. Also, not bad. Plug this one in. We should hear something. It's a whole lot of nothing. Maybe the connection is not good because it's, yeah, for sure. These wires are so tiny bit exposed, they just don't make any contact. Get a wire cutter. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. A wire thingy. A wire stripper, I guess. It sounds like a whole lot of weird words about the hose and the stripper. Open for a lot of different interpretation, especially with my perfect English pronunciation. Okay, take 2. That did not sound really good. Motherfuckers. So, like the manual said, 220 blah 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 AC. This one is just suited for 12 volt DC. They gave me the wrong one. Thank you very much, China. Also nice what I just said about Chinese products being cheap. You get what you pay for. So this one is not working anymore. Let's see how I can get a new one for that. But for now, we'll just leave it be. At least the ball valve is installed and I can open it manually. And I'll replace this one later. So this one is finished up. I need to plug this hole back up and then we're done on this part. So a little recap. We got this, part of a bell valve here and another one, the manual one that was there already. Plug this hole up and we have this very nice big dial, this pressure gauge. So this part of the extracurricular activity is finished. Good morning. I got a new toy. I think this is a bit easier to film in all small hooks and nooks and holes and whatever than my big camera over here, which is good quality but also a little bit less on the stabilization. So let's see how this goes. So, like each and every time, I decide when I'm almost finished, I forgot something. I forgot this thing, which is the overpressure valve. And this I just unscrewed from up there, so I cut again into the hose because it did not want to let go. And I need to swap out this one for this T-piece, so it can go here like this. Seems a lot better. Also, I added some more tape, so it's way sturdier. And now I hope I've finally done it this side. So we can go over to the other side. Here. And we need to do a few things. So over here at the cooler, there was a little bit of a leak, which will fix just by, I don't know, retreading it. And replace one of the hoses with a black hose, which hopefully doesn't explode like this PVC one did once and scared the hell out of me. And add a warm wave valve either on the blue line over there, so the air can only flow into the system, or this side of the cooler. I haven't really figured out that yet. And then the line we're going to replace is this one, the PVC one. And I also got, just in the mail, a replacement for this air filter damper. This is the one, the black one, who is on the compressor standard. And I got this one, which the air goes all out of the middle part and it enters the filter through these holes, so it's like a multiple, I don't know, multiple up and down system with some filter in it. Apparently they're quite good from Solberg. They better be for 90 bucks. Yeah, so let's get to it. So this is the new air hose. It's quite thick rubber. I think it's a lot better suited for the high temperature. So I just pulled it through from underneath where the compressor is to here. Still got to replace this rusty corner and connect it back up again. This should be it. Looks much better and hopefully not leaking anymore. Now, last part is to connect this hose going down. In here. Oops. That was the camera. Ta-da! Better. Now, screw in this filter. No, I was a little bit afraid. This is 1¼ inch and this is 1 inch. I made a mistake. I measured the outside diameter and not the inside one, so I need to get a how you say verloop from this one to the other. So the plan is to take a piece of POM Delrin I had lying around, make a really simple bushing. I don't even think I need the thread to go here, so it's 41.4 millimeters, and I'll check the other side. One hole. Like I said in last video, I just got this lathe from a friend, so it had some tools, some nice tools like I don't know, these and this one and the round one, but the one I'm missing is more for internal. So the smallest one I could find is this one. I don't know if you can see it here, but it's I'm not really sure if it will work in this case. It might be just too big for the hole to fit. Let's see. $29-ish, but that may be just enough to take like a proper cutting tool. All right, let's see. That should work. Tiny bit better. So this is the result. I cheated with some tape. It's the most ugly part I ever made on the lathe, but there is some improvement. There's quite a bit of play I found out on the Z-axis, and like I said, I need to invest in some different diameter of tools for internal work. So we take this one and then we put it right there. So even if it's ugly, I never see it, so cannot be really bothered. So that means we can turn it on with this awesome new button and see if we have got any leaks. So a little recap. Changed out this hose for the non-exploding type all the way up. We we made this whole timer box with the external switch and the exhaust fan. Redid the electronics. Refitted the silent intake filter, and up here changed out the leaking hose clamps together with the hose, and on the other side did the same. Here are not the leaking ones, but with the electronic ball valve, the other ball valve, and the overpressure valve, and the big gauge over here. So in a minute or so the compressor should start up, and we'll see if we hear any leaking. So it just switched on, and it was 5 long minutes of waiting, and so far sounds really good. Yeah, it's really hard to notice because I don't have any fancy decibel meter, but the really low thumping noise that you usually get from the intake, it's it's almost completely gone. It was reverberating a little bit in the building, so that Solberg definitely works better than this fancy head. So yeah, I'm really happy. Also interesting, I just found out because I was watching another pressure gauge, namely this one on the back of the CNC, and I thought, oh, it's 6 bars almost all of the time, but stupid me, it's the reduced pressure. And after it had been running, it's about 10-ish bars, a little bit lower now, but that's fine. So, super happy. Let me know what you guys think, and if you come up with the proper name of the hose, I don't know, thingamajiggy, put it in the comments. Help me out, guys. And see you on our next adventure. Ciao.